Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May show and tell. I'm gonna give my usual disclaimer and say make sure you're cozy, make sure you have a snack or a beverage because these videos tend to be long and I have a lot of things I want to show you and a shocking amount of books and other things. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. If you are rejoining me, then you kind of know what to expect from my show and tells, but for those of you that don't, this is basically like my monthly favorites, only it may not be all things that I loved. It's just everything I've been playing with or enjoying in the month of May. I'm like, what month is it? What month is it actually? It's very confusing. And every time I sit down to do one of these, I'm like, didn't I just do one of these like last week? No, I didn't. It's been a whole month. So yeah, let's get into it. So I am going to start off with YouTube stuff because that is the category I am most likely to forget. The first YouTube thing that I want to mention is my interview with Kellyanne Maddox. So I will have a link to that video down below. It was a lot of fun to have Kellyanne on the channel and to talk about her recent release of Rebel Witch, which is an amazing book. I'll be talking about that more in the books section. But it was just really fun to have Kellyanne to chat about just all the things. We talked a bit about her experiences as a YouTube creator. We talked about just some cool synchronicities and some aha moments I felt like I experienced reading Rebel Witch, and I asked her about the writing process as well. It was really super fun. Definitely like a bucket list moment for me. I was really happy to have her on the channel and she was really fun to talk to. So I will definitely link that down below. I also had another guest on the channel this month. I had Dana from the Shadow Moon Witch on the channel and we got a chance to talk about spell crafting and we also kind of sidelined into a bunch of cool different little areas. We talked a little bit about deity work. We talked a little bit about how deity work and spell work kind of combine, and it was a really fun conversation. So I will also link that down below. That was part of my Eclectic Witchcraft 101 series, where I usually have a live stream from that series once a month here on the channel, and this time having Dana on, it was just a lot of fun. And at the time I'm filming this, it hasn't happened yet, but it's always a favorite. Myself, Danny of Danny Mystic, and Dustin of Modern Metaphysicae are getting together, will have gotten together. Time is weird. We will have done our Three Fat Readers chat for May, which is going to be a VR for Decks for Decades, which is a response to Boho Tarot, Don Michelle, but also to Jessica Starr, the Story Witch, who originally created that tag. I'm sure I will have had a lot of fun, so I'm going to mention it. I know it's kind of cheating, but like also I talk about Three Fat Readers every time, so like, is it really cheating? It's always a favorite thing. I think I enjoy the Three Fat Readers chats so much because it's literally just getting together with a bunch of my friends and talking about fun topics. And that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm getting together with Danny and Dustin, yes, but also all of you guys. And like we have these like really interesting like conversations and we bounce around and it's really fun. So definitely check that out. If you are not subscribed to Three Fat Readers, our collab channel, there is always a link to that in the description box down below. So definitely check that out. I feel like I haven't been watching nearly as much YouTube in general this past month as I have normally, but I haven't been watching a lot of things. So let's actually talk memories because that might make the rest of this whole conversation make a lot more sense. So one memory is kind of like super top secret at this particular moment, but you will know more soon, I promise. But I have been working on a huge project. Well, huge to me. It's probably not going to seem all that huge to you guys, but it feels huge to me. And it's been in process for well over a year. And I finally did a whole bunch of the recording pieces that I needed to do to have it bring it all together. But it was a lot of work and it was also a lot of time. And I managed to make these like big steps. I realize I'm kind of like vague YouTubing right now and I'm really sorry. And I want to tell more and it's coming. It's coming, I promise. But I've still got a few more finishing touches to do and quite a bit more work ahead of me as far as editing and putting things together, but it is coming and I'm really excited. So that was a big thing and that did take a lot of my time in May actually. And also in May, our oldest dog, Shayla, they're both my dogs are currently right beside me. You can't see them, but they're right there. Our oldest dog, Shayla, just oldest by like a year, but she had her like dental cleaning, but then she also had a lump that we got removed. So she was in a cone and getting all kinds of medication for a good couple of weeks. So that took a bunch of my time. And the other significant thing thing that happened in May is that Peggy and I got our first COVID vaccine. I talked about that a bit on the community tab here on my channel and just mentioned that I was really anxious actually going in. I didn't expect to be. I felt fine. I was really excited to get my shot. It was all good. We got there, we got into the building, and I got just super anxious, which again, I wasn't prepared for and I wasn't expecting, but I did feel really nervous and really anxious. But the process itself was so easy and smooth, and all things, you know, considered, it was a positive experience. I mean, yeah, you're getting a shot, but it was so much relief to know that we have that bit of protection. So that was really good, and I guess momentous in this long thing that we've all been going through as a global community. It's just kind of interesting to be at this point where now we still have to get our second shots. I don't know when that will happen because Canada, but at some point we will get that. So that was the other really significant thing that happened in May. And I feel like there was more than that too that I'm just not remembering, but I feel like it's in there. And I just feel like May was a really, really, really full month. Okay, let's talk food for a moment. There's a few things that happened food-wise in May that were really fun. First, Amazon sent me a sample. I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience, but I'm an Amazon Prime member in Canada, and they sent to one of my primary delivery addresses a sample of this like new snack. And I'm not really usually a sample person. Like, I don't even often eat or try samples that are sent to me, especially if they're unsolicited samples. But this it arrived at the perfect time, and I was ready for a snack or for breakfast, and it was these Nature Valley crispy, creamy wafer bars in peanut butter chocolate. Oh my goodness. This bar, the one that they sent me was just the peanut butter flavor. This one, the ones that were like legitimately hooked on are these peanut butter chocolate ones, but they're actually relatively high fiber and low sugar for what they are. They literally taste like a candy bar. Or like a wafer cookie candy bar hybrid, but they're only 7 grams of sugar, which I pay attention to these things because Peggy is trying to watch her sugars. But oh my gosh, these are so good, and they're actually pretty satisfying. Like, one makes a decent breakfast for me. I'm also not a big breakfast eater. Like, I don't eat big breakfasts is what I mean by that. I like to eat breakfast, but just like a little breakfast. I like a little breakfast. This is perfect. I literally am now on subscribe and save for this. So clearly Amazon's sample program totally worked on me, but these are so good. They are so good. So I'm excited about them, and we all like them, which is awesome. So I think I'm getting them delivered monthly now on subscribe and save because they're awesome. So I will link these down below because you can get them on Amazon, and they were cheaper on Amazon for me than they were at the grocery store. So like, I'm getting them from Amazon because yeah, but they are so good. Did I mention they're good? They're really tasty. I'm like, the box is sealed. This is one of our backup boxes, and I'm like, do I eat one right now? Like, do I pause this video? No, I'm gonna wait. But I also did some fun cooking experiments this month, and a couple of them came out really, really good. One of which was I made this like really delicious black cod, fresh black cod, and like it was seasoned with all these spices, and I even changed some of the spices. Like, the main spice was supposed to be paprika, but I changed it to turmeric, and it was incredible, and it had a lemon butter sauce, and it was really good. And I'm making something very similar in like as soon as I'm done with this video with regular cod, because yeah, I want to try it that way too. But it was really good. I have tended to be really intimidated by making fish, even though I love fish, and even though fish is actually really easy to cook, but it seems like it's not going to be easy. I think there's some kind of mental block there, but it's actually really easy, and it's quick. Fish is quick. So I'm excited about that. I'm literally like drooling in my mouth as I'm thinking about having fish for dinner, which is like a whole thing. But I really like it. It was really good. And I'm proud of myself because if y'all don't know, I'm not the cook in the family, like not by a long stretch. So for me to cook anything and then be like really excited and proud of it is usually, it's momentous. That's why I end up mentioning it in my show and tell, because it's usually like a big deal to me. I don't know if it'd be a big deal to anybody else, but it's definitely a big deal to me. So that was the other food thing. I'm looking at my notes. What else? Oh yeah. And then another food thing was Cinnamon Toast Crunch has, I don't know if it's like a special edition thing that they're doing for May or what, but they have Cinnamon Toast Crunch churros. It's so tasty. I ate the entire box in like 3 days, which, mind you, those cereal boxes are really small, but I usually have very small portions of cereal, and I think I ate it in 3 days. So obviously they weren't that small portion. So good. I love cinnamon sugar as a flavor though, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch is already really good. And these are like little churro shaped Cinnamon Toast Crunches, I guess, kind of. It's kind of a similar flavor, just a different shape, but they were so crunchy and delicious and yummy, and I really want to get that one again. That one was really super good. Okay, and the last food thing that I actually liked enough to remember to write it down was in our local store, one of our local grocery stores. There was one of the local, I guess, strawberry farmers or strawberry producers in our area produced these like extra giant, like small peach-sized strawberries. And you get them in a bigger container. They were all like perfectly ripe. None of them were like questionable. You know how you go to the store and you get strawberries and some of them are like questionable? Or am I the only one that notices that? Like I have to like look at like every single package to find one where it's like the strawberries aren't questionable. These ones were all really, really perfect and they were so good. And if you are a fan of strawberries and you don't totally hate vinegar, trust me, even if this sounds weird, just trust me on this. If you're normally somebody who enjoys vinegar, like specifically balsamic vinegar, if you are normally like, if you like to dip bread in balsamic vinegar and oil, just trust me and try this. Just try it once with one strawberry. But the way that I first learned this was to dip a strawberry in sugar, in granulated sugar, which I would do anyways, and then dip it in a little bit of balsamic, and then it kind of clings to the sugar, and then you eat that. It is incredible. It's to the point now where every single time I have strawberries, I will literally make a slurry, like make a mix of sugar and balsamic vinegar, and that's what I dip my strawberries in. That is such a good thing. They're so good. I love strawberries. I love fresh strawberries. I love ripe local strawberries, but I really love strawberries in balsamic and sugar. It's like the best thing. And I cannot remember for the life of me where I originally found out about that tip, because I didn't make that up. I would have never thought to combine those flavors, but it is so delicious. It is so good. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about food now. TV. I have many aspirations for things that I want to watch. I've started watching... Oh no, I've forgotten the name of it. It's a new cartoon. If I can remember, I will pop a picture of it somewhere on the screen so you know what show I'm talking about. But I've only watched the first episode so far because my friend and I just finished Hilda finally. So we are wrapped up on Hilda and we're now watching this and it looks really cute so far. I'm loving the personality in the characters. So I'm loving it so far. But again, only one episode in and I'm about 3 episodes in right now to Shadow and Bone, which is on Netflix. That was a hard suggestion from Dustin at Modern Metaphysica. He was like, Danny and Lisa, you need to watch this. So I started watching it. I'm really liking it. I just haven't had a lot of time to sit and watch TV lately, but it is super enjoyable so far. So I'm excited to see where the story goes on that. It's definitely like my vibe. Like I definitely like shows that have that kind of feel to them. I did, however, while I was doing some work earlier this month, watch a little bit more of Anne with an E. Is that what it's called? Anne with an E? The Netflix series about Anne of Green Gables. Really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying some of the twists that they're taking on some of the stories to bring in kind of more modern issues, but presented as maybe how they could have been dealt with in that time period. I don't know how to express what it is I'm trying to say, but like I've seen some issues come up in the show that I'm pretty sure never came up in the book, or I'm remembering wrong. I'm not entirely sure, around like gayness and around like racial inequity and things like that I feel like weren't necessarily covered in the books, but are being covered in this really like seamless kind of way in the series where it feels like it's a part of the story and not something that's just being like tacked on, if that makes any sense. So it's woven in this really lovely way with Anne's personality, and the character who plays Anne, or the actress who plays Anne, is really growing on me as a representation of Anne, so I'm really enjoying that. But again, that's something that I pop on every now and again, and I had actually started season 1 a long time ago, and I finally just started like getting back into it. So I'm way behind. I think there's actually a whole extra season now. We'll see. But I love Anne of Green Gables. It's one of my favorite like sort of stories. I've read the books over and over and over again, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm really excited about my like body, beauty, makeup, and random categories. So let's get into that and then we'll tackle decks and books because I have so many cool things in front of me that I really want to talk about. So first, oh my gosh, okay, I need to move this to the side. So first, let's talk about my bracelet. So if you have been watching my channel for a while, you might recognize these. So these are my, the bracelets that I have been wearing for, I want to say like about 10 years now. They're old. They're old. And these are silicone. So I've talked a lot about having metal allergies and what that means for me as far as jewelry is concerned. I'm very sensitive to nickel, and it does actually really cause me issues with a lot of different types of jewelry. I've been wearing these bracelets because they each have a quote on them, and I found them at a conference years ago, and I've looked and looked and looked for something similar, and I've never found it. These are did I mention they're silicone? They're silicone. They're exactly like those like bands you can get like at concerts or at festivals, but that are much wider, that have like sayings on them, or they're to support different like causes. But these had quotes, and the yellowy white one says happy, joyous, and free. The gray one says miracles happen. And the black one says just when the caterpillar thought the world was ending, it turned into a butterfly. Anyway, you always see me wearing these because they're soft, they're comfortable, they wear well, and they don't irritate my skin. But these need to be retired so bad. They're so old, and it's amazing to me that they haven't fallen apart. Also, one of them glows in the dark, and I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel like about that at any given time. Sometimes I'm like in bed, and I'm like, oh, there's my wrist. It's like, what's happening over here? Anyway, I was ready to retire these, and I have been keeping my eyes out for something that will give me the same kind of vibe, something that I can wear all the time that's going to not be metal. Anyways, I fell prey to one of those Instagram ads and I found Zocs. So that is what this is. So they're these like fabric-y, they're like elastic, but they're printed with these really beautiful like colors and designs. And then on the other side of each one, there's a quote. So this one says, though she be but little, she is fierce. And this is the thing is I really like sort of jewelry with intention, right? And this probably wouldn't classify as jewelry to most people, but it does to me. This can get wet, it's super comfortable, and there's no metal on it anywhere, so it shouldn't irritate my skin. And you can wear it with the design out, or you can wear it with the quote out, but either way the quote is there. And when they send them to you, with a little card, and it comes like it's really cute. Actually, I'll show you my other ones, but it comes like all wrapped around its little card, kind of like that. And then when you pull the bracelet off, each card is numbered, which I don't care about the limited edition, but they're all limited edition. And then on the front, it has the same quote and the same artwork from the bracelet. And then on the back, there's another little saying. So this one says, maybe that means we should put more importance on the size of the heart than we do on the illusion of stature. So they're all like meaning, right? They all have meaning. So the other ones that I picked up, and I had like a coupon code. I wish I could remember where I found it. So I also have this one. And the quote on this one is perfectly imperfect. And it says imperfection equals individuality equals perfection, which I think is brilliant. And they come in these like this soft little packaging that you can use to keep your Zocs in. So then I also so I just picked out ones that had like, I liked the sayings and I felt like I would choose to wear them for different times in my life. I got this one, which says, this too shall pass. It's got this like rainbow sort of design. And then it's got like this black inky like splotches over it. And it says, turbulent storms have a beautiful way of making strong sailors, which is another saying I've heard before in different forms and really, really like. So I liked that a lot. That idea of this too shall pass is a really useful one. And then what I've been doing with the card for the one that I'm wearing is I've been just tucking it into my little planner cover. So I have it there to kind of look on and, think about. The other ones I have here are Can't Bring Me Down. So this one's super cute. It's all like balloons and adorableness. And it says, can't bring me down. Promise me you'll always remember you're braver than you believe and stronger than you seem and smarter than you think. And that's A.A. Milne, which I think that's the creator of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I think so. And these are not very expensive. And like I said, I had a coupon code, so I was able to get a bunch of them at a discount. I just don't remember. If I can remember what that coupon code was, if it's still active, I will share it with you guys down below. And then this one was so pretty with the blue and gold. And this one says, begin again. And then it says, no matter how hard the past, you can always begin again, which is a lovely message. And then this one looks like waves to me. It's really pretty, but there's also like a rainbow. And this one says, if it brings you down, it's not worth it. But the main message is focus on the positive. If it brings you down, it's not worth it, which I thought was really beautiful. And again, it's so cool that you can like pick a different message and kind of wear it close to your wrist as a reminder. I love stuff like this, but I love stuff like this that has like meaning, right? And then I got this one is so cute. It's all like floral, like white with flowers on this side. And then when you flip it, this one says have faith. But it's black with flowers. So again, you can wear it either direction. And the card on this one says, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And that is a Helen Keller quote. I love show and tells, they're so fun. So this one says, its main saying is be you bravely. and it says, whoever is happy will make others happy too. He who has courage and faith will never perish in misery. And that is an Anne Frank quote. So I really enjoy these, and I'll just be rotating them, but it's really nice. I've already gotten this one wet a few times. No big deal. It dries. I haven't had any wrist irritation, comfortable to sleep in. There's nothing poking me. And that's kind of what I like, is to wear things like that. So I'm really excited about that because I can finally find a way to let these go. They've been in my life a long time, but yeah, so these are Zocs, and I will have a link to the site down below. So another random fun thing that's sort of body beauty related is this. So these are CD reusable makeup remover pads. So I've talked in the past about I have these really fluffy makeup pads that are like washable, because I don't like buying the disposable cotton rounds because it's just a lot of waste, especially if you use a lot of skincare or you do a lot of makeup stuff. And I don't like the idea that every time I'm like using one of those, I'm throwing it in the garbage. I'm not a fan. So I have these really thick, plush, like really fluffy rounds that are perfect for removing makeup. I can just get them wet and they will actually take makeup off. They're really great if I'm like swatching things on the back of my hand to wipe that off. They're really great in general. Once I've gone in with like an oil to kind of break up the makeup, then I just go in with water and one of these pads and it just takes off all of my makeup, and then I wash those. I've talked about those in the past. But I wanted to experiment with the idea of using washable rounds for removing nail polish. And I was a little nervous about this because I didn't want to use my really fluffy ones because I felt like the fluffy ones would really grab the nail polish and it would just they would get really crusty even once washed. That's what I was thinking. So I wanted to find some that were a little bit thinner, like less fluffy and less plush, and that were inexpensive, so that if this experiment failed miserably, I wouldn't be super, super sad. And these ones are bamboo. Let's see what it says. Yeah, they're made out of bamboo. And they come in this box with no plastic, so there's nothing disposable, I guess you could say, like non-recyclable that comes in here. It comes with a little info card. They even include a basic little laundry bag. This is just a really simple mesh bag, but there was, again, no plastic, no packaging. They are an environmentally conscious little small company. And when they give you your cotton rounds, they come in this beautiful like container, which is super cute to sit on your counter. I have it sitting in a little kit that holds all my nail stuff. And then it's got this like little lid inside. And these are so great. So they're kind of a little bit silky on one side, similar to like a less fluffy version of what I already have. And I feel like these probably would be pretty decent at taking off your makeup with water. And then the other side feels like a really soft washcloth kind of texture. And it says that they are fully bamboo cotton. So I have been able to, the past 2 manicures in a row, I've used a single one of these in nail polish remover and been able to take off all 10 fingers worth of nail polish, including a glittery one. And then when I'm done, what I do is I take it into my bathroom sink and I rinse it out really, really well with a little bit of hand soap just to get off the surface stuff. They still look really colored. And I was hoping to find something like this in a colored cotton because I felt like it'd look cuter. I'm assuming they're going to be super stained. I am assuming that. But I wanted to have a set just for that, like not to use on my face, but just to use for my nails. And so far, I'm really excited because there was like 18 of these pads. And since I already washed the other washable rounds that I use for my face, I just popped the nail ones that I used the last couple of times into the same laundry bag, and those are going through the laundry like today. So I'll let you guys know how they work out, but so far I'm really pleased. I normally go through, I would say 3 or 4 disposable cotton rounds to take off my nail polish, and the fact that I could just do it with just one, just that, and the fact that it's washable so it's not more garbage, it just makes me really happy. So I will have a link to these down below. I think they were like $18 Canadian. I'm hoping you can also get them in the States, but if not, you can probably get something very similar. I'm really excited about this specific brand. Normally I don't talk brands with stuff like this, but with this one I am really excited about the brand because they clearly care about being eco-conscious. Everything in here, from having a container to keep them in to having no plastic to unwrap when I got this, it was a really nice experience. And that beautiful little tin that comes with it, it's really good. So let's talk makeup stuff for a second. Let's talk some makeup stuff. I can't help it. I've been playing a lot. I think it's really apparent that I've been enjoying playing with makeup a lot. So I'm just gonna talk about some favorite things. So first off, this product right here. So this is the Kosas Tropic Equinox Color and Light Cream. And I got this because I really wanted to try, I have some drugstore cream bronzer and cream highlight that I've been playing with, but I really wanted to try something from a clean beauty brand and see what I thought. So Kosas is, from what I can tell, a pretty decent brand. And this comes in like this little duo. So you have, this is technically a blush, just so y'all know. But I'm very, very fair skinned. And this color, Tropic Equinox, this is like, these creams are really, and I've been really liking cream makeup. I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand so you can kind of see what these look like. But these are really, really pretty. I didn't use it today. I used my drugstore stuff today because I had this in my basket to remember to talk about it. But they just look, they're really, really easy to put on. And they look, this totally works like a bronzer for me. And then this is a really nice, like, natural highlight. I've been really liking that sort of dewier look, I guess you could say, lately. And these have just been really, really nice to work with. Plus, you can pretty much tell. I can go into this with a brush or with my finger and just like blend it all in both cases, and it works really well. I love this. This is really nice. And it feels hydrating, and I have dry skin, so products like this that like feel like they also are kind of nourishing. I don't know, they're just really enjoyable to use. So I've really been liking this. If you're interested in like cream makeup, and I've heard people who use these like they're intended, like a blush. This color could actually totally work as a blush on me too, but it would be that bronzier blush. But I've heard a lot of people raving about these. So really nice. Love this. Something else that I've been enjoying the heck out of, and you must have seen it on my eyes at least once in the past month in a video, because I'm really having fun playing with different makeup looks for videos too, is, or maybe I didn't make a video with this one. Anyways, this is a ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadow, an ultra metallic in the color Moonwalk. This is a really cool color, and it's duochrome, and I'm normally like a palette, eyeshadow palette kind of girl. Hopefully I can get this to show up on camera. But this is a really cool, like, green to red. And the Super Shock shadows are, like, they're really, really fun to do, like, all over the lid. Let me swatch this. Where? I'm not a makeup tuber, but I still like talking about makeup. Anyway, it's right there. And I have no idea because I'm way too far from the viewfinder if it shows up. But when you put this on your eyelid, like just all over the lid, it literally looks like you're wearing 2 or 3 different colors because it shifts from that like reddy brown to like green. It's so pretty. I did this in like a green eyeshadow look during May, and I loved it. I have been playing with Pat McGrath eyeshadows. And again, I don't want to talk about every single Pat McGrath thing I've been playing with lately because it's excessive and you guys would get sick of watching it. But this quad is an Astral Blitz quad. This was from her 2019 holiday collection, I think, but I got it on sale. She had a major sale on her website, and I got it on there for like 30% off, and actually less than that because, or more than that off, because they were like in a kit, the 3 of these. Anyways, I babbled. You probably don't care how this came to be, but this is the one called Nocturnal Nirvana. And it's all her, like, special formula. Oh, my God. I'm going to swatch these because, like, why not? It's my channel. I can do what I want. These are so pretty. This was actually the palette I thought I was going to get the least amount of use out of. But when I made an eye look with these colors, how do I do this? Let's do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way. I freaking fell in love. So there's like a purpley metallic. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to do. How do makeup YouTubers do this? I'm so far from the screen. Okay, let's do it that way. That way. I have no idea if this is going to show up. I'm really bad at swatching this way. Oh my God, that's such a terrible set of swatches. Whatever. Anyway, they're like, look how much is left on my fingers. They're like, these are so pretty. Anyways, you know what I'll do so that it makes sense is I'm going to pop up a picture on the screen somewhere next to me of the eye look that I did with these because I'm doing them no justice with my terrible swatches. But these are all shimmery, and I thought there was no way I was going to be able to make a look out of these, but I totally did. And I don't think I used anything else. I may have put bronzer in my crease. Maybe. I don't remember, and I'm not looking at the picture, but you are. And I think the look came out so pretty. I basically did a gradient of like gold to green to blue to purple on my eyes, and I will definitely be doing that one again. It was so fun, and it came out like exactly the way that I pictured it in my head, and I was so excited about it. And then there's 2 more things. I said I was almost done, but I lied. So, okay, I have a love-hate relationship with these. So these are the Physicians Formula Muru Butter. I don't know what they call themselves. I mean, in theory, they look like they're lipsticks, but like, they're not. They're this weird hybrid between a lipstick, a lip gloss, and a lip balm. And if you're confused, so am I. I got these and I like pulled them. I pulled the cap off and I clicked it, like I twisted the bottom up, which I'm not going to do now because I've learned my lesson. But I twisted the bottom up and it just became this like slippery, creamy mess. It's like cream in a tube. It's definitely softer than a lipstick, but obviously more solid than like a lip gloss. It's really hard to explain these. And they smell straight up like papaya. But I have the colors Brazilian Sunset and Pink Eenie. And Brazilian... Let's watch more things. I'm sure this won't end in disaster. But like I find that I have to keep them just like literally wound down all the way because they get everywhere. The cap gets messy. But they're super hydrating and they do... I'm wearing them now. I'm wearing the Pink Eenie like all over. And then I put a little bit of the orangey one, Brazilian Sunset, in like the middle of my lips. Anyways... So these are them right here. The one on the top, the orangier one, is Brazilian Sunset, and the one below that is Pink Eenie. And they're really pretty and really wearable, but I find myself wearing these a lot. This kind of thing in the summer is really nice because it feels like it feels like you're putting on lip balm, but like also there's color, and they do smell good. Although I'm kind of on the fence about the papaya smell. Like it's really strong papaya, and I'm not always a papaya person, but they're good and they're comfortable. Like on one hand, they're like potential to be really messy and kind of sloppy. And it's like, well, maybe I should just wear a gloss. But like they stay put better than a lip gloss does. I don't know. I like them. They're fun. I don't know that I would buy them again once I use these ones up, but they're a lot of fun. I didn't really think about doing the rest of this with makeup all over my left hand and arm, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. Okay, one last body thing. I said I was done, but I'm not done. The last body thing I want to talk about is this e.l.f. Marsh-mellow Soothing Mask. Oh my god. Okay, if you have dry skin like me, or if you have sensitive skin, this is the nicest, like, mask, like rinse-off mask to use. It's like a mud mask, but it doesn't leave your skin feeling like dry or tight afterwards. It's like your skin feels kind of plump and like nourished, and it's so soft and fluffy. It calls itself a Marsh-mellow Soothing Mask. That's literally what it feels like. So it's in this pretty packaging. But anyways, it's like white and fluffy, kind of super thick, and it feels going on like a really, really thick cream, but it dries like down like a mud dries, but it doesn't dry in that like you feel like your face is going to crack way. Like it definitely dries. You can tell that it's dry. But this was so nice. My skin was really irritated from some skincare stuff I was doing, and it was exactly what it sounds like. It was so soft and like soothing, and my skin felt so good afterwards. So yeah, love that. Okay, now I really am done talking about skincare and beauty things, but like it's been a really fun thing for me lately. Anyways, other random things, and then we're gonna talk about decks and books. This is gonna be 1,000,000 hours long, and I'm not sorry. I'm trying not to be sorry for doing the content that I want to do and just telling you guys all the things I want to tell you. Okay, one random thing. I would not expect to be showing you guys my shoes, but these are so great. So I got some new sandals. These are Skechers, what are they called? Reggae sandals, and I think they've discontinued them because I got myself a pair. I actually got myself a black and white pair, and I started wearing them, and Peggy and I are the same shoe size, and she tried them, and she's like, these are really comfortable. They've got like arch support. They have like, they're almost like a hiking type shoe, so they've got like a proper like base and tread on them, so they feel really secure. So I ordered another pair in like the only color that I could find, and it was this blue and with multicolor, and I was like, oh, these will be for Peggy, it'll be fine. And then they came in and they're super sparkly, which also was fine. But then we just decided one day to try and swap just to see what we thought. And for some reason, these ones, even though the black and white ones are exactly the same, they're just a different color, there's something about them that feel different. So these felt more comfortable for me, and Peggy really likes the black and white ones. So we now have matching sandals. I'm a big fan of Skechers, but these are great. I had a pair of flip-flops I wore for like 3 or 4 years in a row because I love having my feet in open shoes like this. But these are so great. And Skechers in general is good, but they have like, they're just the perfect shape. They're super cute. They like feel like you're wearing a sandal, but they feel sturdy and comfy like a runner or like a hiking shoe. So you have all this like support and cushion, and like you feel like you could actually walk for a distance in them, which I think is amazing. So those are definitely a favorite, even though that's weird for me to show you my shoes, but I'm actually really excited about them. Okay, I have some other things. Okay, this is a favorite, and I can't remember if I've ever talked about it on the channel, but I use the crap out of this thing. This is a book light, and I will link to the specific one down in the description box down below, because this one has been like my perfect book light. It has a little clippy dippy, and it's rechargeable, and at any point it's got this little button, and at any point you can click it and see how much battery power you have left. So if all the blue lights are full, then you've got lots of battery. And the battery on this thing lasts forever. But the reason I got this specific one is I wanted one that had warm light. So a lot of times LED book lights will have this very cool kind of daylight style light, which is not great for your brain. And I like to read in bed at night, which is why I have a book light. But this one has a really nice sort of soft, I don't know if it'll show on the camera at all, kind of golden light, which I prefer. This is the lowest like light intensity and the warmest color, but you can actually switch to 3 brightness levels within just all warm, or you can switch to, oh wait, you have to hold long press, or you can long press and go completely cool, so you can see even on the screen, I think, or you can go again and you have like in between, so you have both warm and cool light. So long presses change the color temperature, and then short presses change the brightness. So I usually use it on the lowest brightness on the warmest setting. But this is so great. It clips on. It's like, it does a really good job of like clipping onto the back of your hardback book or your softback book. And then as you're reading, because of this little gooseneck, it just like, it like shines the light. You can aim it exactly how you need it to like be able to read. It's just, it's really wonderful. And I love this specific one. And it's been so great to have one that's rechargeable and I don't have to worry about batteries. And I really like it. Anyways, book light. If you're somebody like me that likes to read in bed, and I have a Kindle Paperwhite for my ebooks, but when I'm reading regular books, a book light is a must for me because I like very warm light to read by in bed, and I don't want to have to get up and go turn off the light because that's very impractical. So yeah, and I like to have enough light to read by, so that's another thing. Let's talk about Peggy Things for a moment, for like specifically things that she sews, because there's been some very exciting things happening. So first, selfishly, I'm going to tell you guys the thing that she made just for me that is not for sale. I know that's mean. So I have a tiny little mini Lenormand deck, and when Peggy first started sewing 3-4 years ago now, 3-4 years ago, I think, she made me a cute little leather pouch, and the leather is a bit of a story. So we at the time were playing in a little bit of a live action role play kind of thing, and the whole reason Peggy started sewing is so she could make us some LARP clothes because we were embracing our nerddom. It was a lot of fun actually. But she was making us some LARP clothes, and we found through a local like Craigslist kind of listing this piece of like really super lightweight, thin kind of clothing style leather, and we're like, oh cool, we could make some like cloaks for our LARP gear or whatever. So we picked that up. We never ended up making any LARP gear that I can remember, maybe a little bit of something, I can't quite remember, but Peggy took a little tiny piece of it and she sewed me a perfect fitted pouch for my Midia mini Lenormand, which I will show you because it's a super cute little Lenormand deck. It's so little. Look how little it is. Oh, that's the book. That's the book. The Midia Lenormand, as far as I know, is still for sale, but this is one of my first Lenormand decks. I've had it for a long time, and this deck always lives in my bag because it's so convenient and small and adorable. Anyways, Peggy made me this adorable little black leather pouch for it, and she sewed these little snaps onto it, and she even put this little like hot pink decorative stitching. The reason I'm describing it to you and not showing it to you is because this is all that's left of it, are these 2 little snaps. Let's see if I can even hold them so you can see them. These 2 little snaps, that's all that's left, because I set it out in my pile of things to talk about during this favorites video last night, and when I woke up this morning, all I could find were the snaps. Correction, Peggy found both of these snaps in totally separate places in the house, because our little Shayla, when we had this leather out for sewing, because when Peggy was working on the LARP clothes or whatever, we noticed that Shayla was so attracted to chewing on it that we had to take all of the leather and all of the scraps and like put it in a bin and put it high up because she would like dig to find it. I totally forgot about that because that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Anyways, apparently when I left my little pouch out, which thankfully did not have my cards in it anymore, she ate it. Completely ate it. In fact, like she didn't even leave behind any little scraps on these like little snaps. They're just like, she like ate the leather and spit these out. And she's fine. Like, we're keeping an eye on her. It was a very small little pouch, thankfully, in a very lightweight, thin leather. Like, it was thin. It was like cotton thin. So I'm pretty sure she's passing it fine. We're going to keep an eye on her. It's not good for your dog to eat, you know, leather. She seems perfectly pleased with herself. She used to do this when she was a puppy. She'd go after certain things because she had a tendency to chew. And ironically enough, we actually think that it's because we took her to the doggy dentist, basically, and got her teeth taken care of. Like, maybe she had some tooth pain and she suddenly wants to chew everything again because her teeth feel good. I don't know. But my little original pouch is gone. And the reason I was going to show it to you is because Peggy made me an updated pouch. And thank goodness, because I don't have the old one anymore. And it's so cute. So let me show you. So she made me an adorable little wrap. So with a little personal ribbon, matching ribbon. So look at this cuteness. It's like her single pocket wrap, but without this like big long piece of like spread cloth. And she sewed a ribbon onto it for me. And it's in this beautiful like lotus pattern, which I've been obsessing over because you guys know I'm all about the little lotus. I have been needing, and it's got dragonflies on it too, but like the lotus is what I noticed, and it's got all this metallic, and she picked like a perfect matching fabric for it and everything. Anyways, so now my adorable little Midia Lenormand has its own teeny tiny little wrap pouch. It is the cutest, sweetest little thing. I love it so much. And thank goodness the deck was not in that leather pouch when Shayla decided to eat it, because that would have been a bummer. Anyway, so in the process of making sort of special sizes of pouches, Peggy also made this size of a pouch. Look at this. So this is like, again, this one has her classic like elastic closure, but look. And this one is like a regular like Lenormand size. So this is my 1889 Lenormand, just the standard one, not the mini one. And it fits perfectly in this little pouch. It's so cute. So yeah, she was just playing with like the pouches that don't have the full like wraparound. And she made it in this, she came up with this size, which is like a good little Lenormand size. And like for reference, here's the little mini baby one that she made just for me, just for me. And then here is, I guess I could show you this way. And then here is the regular Lenormand ones. You can kind of see how much smaller. And this could actually have technically gone even smaller if she wanted to. And then she made this size. So those of you that saw my this or that number 4, I think, where I was looking at the Marseille Cat Tarot and whether or not to keep it, somebody in the comments actually said, maybe the problem is that you don't have a home for your Marseille Cats Tarot. So Peggy made me a home. And so this is another design, same idea. It's just her wrap bag, but check it out. It opens up. Oh, I've got a little piece of something in there. It's like the perfect size for like a Llewellyn or a low Scarabeo deck, but just like a beautiful little perfect pocket pouch to keep it in. And this is a really cool like textured Japanese fabric that she happened to have left. I don't think she has any more of this fabric, but it's got cats on it, so it was perfect. Anyways, pretty pleased about that. So I got that. But the most exciting thing about like things that Peggy's been up to lately, I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back we were trying to figure out how or if she could do book sleeves, and we talked about it. I talked about the ones that she's made me. So she's made me this one and this one and this one. And these are just classic like open book sleeves that hold like a variety of sizes, and these are just to protect your books so that if you're chucking your book in a bag or whatever, your pages don't get mashed, things don't get stuck in between them. It just keeps your stuff nice. Anyways, she has figured out, and I'm so excited. She made me this one specifically for me because it's got unicorns on it, but she figured out how to make her pocket bag into a book sleeve bag. And mine has, look at all the unicorns. So it looks exactly, it basically looks just like really these like smaller ones. They don't, her other wrap bag that has like the big open up portion, but look at this. And we checked, and this is like the most universal size. I have actually slid into this my full A5 traveler's notebook with inserts into this, and it holds it beautifully. This also, we tested, it holds like regular standard. I'll show you some of my other books in it in a minute, but it holds like regular standard, like hardbound, like fiction books, trade paperback books, like tarot books. We even slid comfortably holistic tarot into this. And the elastic then secures it closed, so you don't have to worry that things are going to fall out and go running around on you. So like once your stuff is in it, you can close it, and it's so good. And I talked her into putting these in the shop. So I think I think by the time this video goes up, within a couple of hours, hopefully at the latest, there will be some of these up in her shop. But I'm so excited because this has been something I've been wanting her to be able to do for a long time, our book sleeves. And since we're talking about book sleeves, let's talk about some of the books I've been reading. And I can even show you how they fit in the book sleeve. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And also, can we talk about this unicorn fabric? Can we talk about it? Because, oh my God, so pretty. Anyways, if you have Peggy's like tarot wraps like this, you kind of know what these feel like and how sturdy they are and how like cozy they are. But being able to put my book in this has got me really, really excited. Okay, so let's talk books and then we'll talk decks and other things. So the first book I want to talk about is Rebel Witch. So if you haven't seen the video where I was talking to Kellyanne Maddox about that, please check it out. I have a lot more of my thoughts in here. This was really, really good, and I super, super enjoyed it. I have put little flaggies in here for different parts that really, really stood out to me. But I've also highlighted all through this book. Like they're like everywhere. I have highlighted passages. I just found it really inspiring as somebody who has been doing a witchy practice for a long, long time, to just feel like I got this like fresh perspective on it was just really special to me. I think she did an amazing job on this book. I'm so glad to have it in my collection. I think it's a really great one to read if you want to explore building a witchy practice in a really open way, and you really want to find your own path and make it your own. This is so good for that. And if you are a seasoned practitioner, there are some really great gems in here that will, I think, shake up the way that you look at your magical practice. Very Kellyanne, definitely you can hear it in her voice, and I believe she did do an Audible as well for this, so lots of options. But it was great, and it's beautiful. It's really nice quality. And check it out. See? I'm just going to shove Rebel Witch in here so you can see what I mean. You just tuck it in there, and once your book is in, you just take your elastic loop around. Boom. And it's all cozy and protected, which I just love that so much. Okay, so anyways, Rebel Witch. I think was that the only nonfiction I read? No, I read 2 other nonfiction books. So that's Rebel Witch. So good. Totally recommend. Also this month, I was sent 2 books, well, 3 books actually, from Liminal 11. Let's talk about that for a minute. So they sent me Soul Color. This was one that I really wanted to review. I can't review it yet because I haven't worked with it yet, but this is basically a 10-week watercolor painting course to cultivate mindfulness and creativity. I am so excited to play with this because the painting exercises in here are definitely like very beginner friendly, but also have, I feel like, this extra tone of reflection or of meditation kind of feel. It's very like sort of loose and flowy sort of techniques, the kind of things that don't seem like they're overly technical, but also very, very helpful. But it is designed like a course. So I hope to play with this a little bit more, and I will definitely keep you posted. For funsies, let's just see if this would fit in Peggy's book sleeve. Oh, look. And this is the other thing. Check this out. So it sticks out a little bit here, but check it out. Because of the elastic closure, you just boop. So good. Oh my God, I love this. I totally put the elastic on crooked, but like you get the idea. Anyway, it's so neat because it has this flat part. It fits such a wide variety of books. It's so clever. Anyways, okay, I will keep you guys posted on Soul Color. I hope to play with it more and let you guys know once I've worked with it for a bit, but it looks really exciting. And then they also sent me, I wasn't expecting these, they sent me All the Places in Between by John C. Douglas, which is a little graphic novel. There's literally no words at all. It is completely visual. And I did read this. It was very sort of self-reflective, kind of touching. You could see there were some hard moments, but definitely a really positive message overall. Really interesting. It's not one that I think I would have picked up like if left to my own devices, but having received it like that and then read it, I think it was actually, well, read it? What do you say? If it's a graphic novel and there's no words, do you say you read it? Or you like looked at it, looked through it, experienced it? Maybe experienced it is a good way to put it. Because again, no words. Literally, it's 100% just visuals. But the artwork is pretty potent. So if the message sort of catches your attention, it says, through wordless black and white illustrations, John C. Douglas emphatically shows the struggle to communicate how things feel when we get lost, and the wrenching effort that comes from dealing with anxiety and depression over the course of an at times surreal and surprising journey. So yeah, it's very like dreamlike, I would say, in how it addresses the topic. Really interesting. And then they also sent me this book, The Spirit of Japan, Festivals, Rituals, and Everyday Magic by Sean Michael Wilson and illustrated by Fumio Obata. Okay, can I just say, the illustrations in this book were absolutely delightful. It kind of was an overview of like sort of ritual type, magical type practices, or practices in Japan that kind of have sort of a magical overtone, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. It was really interesting. I read the whole thing. I thought it felt like a little tour through Japanese culture. Really interesting, but the illustrations they're great. Did I show you this illustration? Probably. Like, look at the back. Like, it's so well illustrated. It's a really nice little hardbound book with a ribbon bookmark, so that was kind of fun to take a tour through. Okay, let's talk fiction before we talk deck stuff. So I read There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This was, I thought, a young adult Penguin teen. So yeah, this is a young adult thriller. And I actually bought it around the fall time thinking I'd read it in the fall. It's clearly now not the fall. This was such a fast-paced book to me. I think what I would say about this is that it was very fast-paced. If you like a really fast-paced story and you like thrillers in general, this would probably be a really fun read. There was a real heavy creep factor to this, and like it was definitely one of those stories that I feel like you kind of feel like somebody's like watching you. You kind of get that like creeped out feeling. Definitely had the creeped out feeling here. The ending, I feel like, I won't get into it. This is spoiler free, but the ending I feel like left a little something to be desired, but I couldn't tell you what that was. It felt like a complete story. It was a really fast read. I did get to the point in this book, as I often do in books like this, where by about halfway through, I was not putting it down until I finished it. So that's usually a pretty good sign that the story has really grabbed me. Specifically with thrillers, I find that that's a really telling thing about how much I did or didn't like a book. Definitely enjoyed it. It was good. So the next book that I wanted to share with you guys was Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson. This was another book that I read in May. This was another very fast-paced story, but I will say it was pretty forgettable, all things said. The story was really interesting, and there was this, I wouldn't even call it thriller so much as I don't know if I'd call it a thriller. It didn't have that kind of thriller element. It did have a lot of like head game kind of stuff that was going on in it. So there was that. So I guess psychological thriller, maybe. But the thriller aspect was a little bit low. I did really want to know what happened to the characters and what happened to the story. I was not prepared for the last quarter of the book or so, where it went in this really weird turn that I was not expecting. So I guess on that level, if you like to be surprised, it was good. But it just, I don't know. There was something about this. I would never read this a second time. I don't know, just left me feeling a little bit icky by the end, which again, some people love that, but I don't know. This one was not my favorite. But, oh my gosh. Echo North by Joanna Ruth Meyer. This book has been on my shelf for like a long time in my to-be-reads, and I don't know if it was something about the cover, but it looked like it was going to be really serious and really intense. I'm pretty sure that this is also a young adult book, but this is essentially a retelling of it's like a fairy tale retelling, which I didn't realize, but it's like a fairy tale retelling of like Beauty and the Beast meets East of the Sun, West of the Moon. It is so beautifully written. It is, the words in here, I don't normally notice the writing the way that I did in this book, but the writing was so beautiful. And there's like a wolf that is involved, and it gets very fantastical. If that bugs you, it gets very magical and very fantastical through like the middle to the end of it. But it's so good. It totally pulled me into the world. I never wanted to let the characters go. I was so attached and so invested. It was really good. I would definitely recommend this, and this is a book I will be keeping. I won't be keeping any of the others of my fiction books that I've read, because those ones I can pass along, but this one I will read again and again. It definitely hit me really hard, and it was beautiful. And I have a real soft spot for fairy tale retellings. Also, like, look, it fits so beautifully in Peggy's book wrap. Look, it's so great. So anyway, I really enjoyed reading that. This is going right on my shelf to be read again. I have to mention decks and divination things before we're all done here. So throughout May, I was actually working primarily with the Cosmovisions and the Prismavisions tarot decks by James R. Eads, which I got in a recent Kickstarter when I backed Cosmovisions Oracle. Cosmovisions to me works very much like a tarot. And James is very clear that he says it's an oracle, not a tarot. However, despite the fact that the major arcana is really focused on this, like, sort of what happens between lives in a past life sort of sense, and it has that beautiful past life sort of energy and messages about it, it read so beautifully by itself as a tarot that I found myself sort of not using Prismavisions as much with it as I imagined initially. I thought I was going to really use these as sister decks, but throughout the month I found myself just wanting to work with just Cosmovisions. I'll talk a little bit more about my experience working with these decks when I do my monthly recap of the, like, focus decks I was working with. So I spent a month with both of these, but they weren't what I expected. They were good, but they weren't what I expected. I also found myself really, like, enjoying the book. Let's see, this is the Cosmovisions Oracle book that came in the Kickstarter, and it's got the Cosmovisions on one side, and when you flip it, you have the Prismavisions book on the other side. This book is absolutely stunning, and I loved being able to open it up and look at the cards and sort of see the artwork in, like, all their glory. And there are both upright and reversed meanings in this big book, but I found myself moving away from working with reversals with both decks within the first 2 weeks of the month. And I found myself gravitating away from using this book, I think partly because the little white books that come with the decks were so effective at conveying the meaning of the card, and I wasn't feeling the desire to work with reversals with either deck, despite the fact that they're both designed to be read with reversals. I wasn't feeling it. So I moved away from working with reversals. So I moved away from working with this book, used the little white books, and that was a lot of fun. I felt like I got punchier messages, but my tarot practice in general did not get as much attention from me as it normally does this month, simply because there was so much going on. So we'll see. We'll see how I end up putting together all of my thoughts on that. But I really did enjoy both decks. I just don't think I had the chance to, like, I guess, bond with them as much as I normally would. So I think that kind of did have a bearing on how I ended up feeling about them by the end of the month. And also, this was super fun. I did work a little bit with Geomantic Visions in May. So I did do some geomantic spreads for myself. I studied all of these 16 geomantic figures. I read Geomantic Visions, the book, cover to cover. This was great because it was a great primer into the energies of the geomantic system and kind of essentially how a reading works. And I'm currently also now reading The Art and Practice of Geomancy by John Michael Greer. So this is the nonfiction book that I'm currently working on, but I've only just begun it. So I don't have a lot of formed opinions about it yet, but I'm really excited about geomancy. I really enjoyed doing a couple of readings. I felt like they made sense to me. I feel like the system makes sense to me. So I'm off to a really good start that way. I'm going to continue my studies with this stuff and keep you guys posted, but it was a lot of fun to work with those things. And if you are intrigued by geomancy, it's just a beautiful set. Interestingly, you do find yourself, or at least I found myself, working with the little elemental coins, the mini ones that come in that set, more than the big coins, at least in the beginning. What I was tending to do is cast the figures with the little coins and then pull out the big coins to, like, kind of keep track of my main figures I was really looking at. So they seemed more decorative in a weird way, but you could also, of course, draw them as part of your geomantic reading process. So I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to work with it all, but it was a lot of fun to play with. And then there were two other decks that I did work with in May, although not, like, formally. I received my Tarot Renard by Celia Melville, and I did my walkthrough on this deck. I am so charmed by these foxes. They are the best. But I've been keeping this on my reading table and drawing a card for myself once every couple of days and putting it in my card stand as a way to work with this deck a little bit here and there. Not in any, like, in-depth way, but gosh, it's beautiful. I love to shuffle it. I love to look at it. I think the characters in these cards are super lovable and charming. I love that the Page of Cups is on the front of the box. It's like it was made for me. That's how I feel about this deck. It feels like it was made just for me. And I've also been really enjoying, and have already used it for client readings, the Good Karma Tarot. I just recently put up my walkthrough, but I've had this deck now for a couple of weeks, and I really enjoy this deck. It's really great for professional readings for me because I reach for primarily more diverse decks, often more modern decks for client readings, but it does depend on the kind of reading. And this deck has just been such a joy to work with. It's so easy to read. It's so easy to use it to tackle everyday kind of issues and messages and things that people might be facing. I just found it was one that immediately I wanted to put on the rack that I go to pull decks for client readings, like, right away. So I had to mention it here in my show and tell. Okay, I'm done. I have no other items here to, like, show you, so I'm going to stop right now and go make dinner because I'm getting starving. Yeah, I'm filming this in the evening, by the way. You'll be watching it in the morning, so that might not make sense to you. Well, it depends on your time zone. So you know what? We're not gonna worry about all that right now. Thank you so much for joining me for my monthly show and tell. I hope you had fun hanging out with me while you maybe did some chores or did some work or whatever it is you do while you're watching these ridiculously long videos that I sometimes make. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. These are one of my favorite things to do every month, to kind of just talk about all the things in one place. It's a great record keeper for me of my life, but it's also just really fun to be able to talk about all the things, not just like just decks or just books. And so thank you. Thank you for letting me ramble at you for the last however long it takes. I won't know till I'm in editing. Hopefully not terribly long, but I have had to the record button a couple times, which is not usually a good indication that I've been at all succinct or anything. But thank you for hanging out with me. As always, please do be sure and like this video if you enjoyed it or you found value in it. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click the little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. Thank you again so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye guys. You know, I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. No, I'll talk about that now. No, I'll talk about this now. I don't know what to do. I don't know what order to talk about things in. What am I even doing? I have eyeshadow all over me now. And sparkles. I mean, I'm not really all that sad about it. My wrist smells like papaya. Oh my gosh, focus, Lisa.